Hi, it's Lisa and welcome back to my channel. I hope you're having a great day. So in today's video I wanted to talk to you about planning a wedding. So my boyfriend, or now fiance, asked me to marry him back in January this year. So now is April, the end of April, and basically we've been looking at venues. Now this is all about, you know, using less, having a simple life and being a bit more minimalistic in our everyday life. Now there's videos that I've done in regards to this, and I've been thinking about how I can channel this into a wedding because, well, let me tell you the story. So basically Dave asked me to, marry me, and then it was like, to be fair, I've never really dreamt of a big wedding, and I thought, oh, it'll be nice just to have something simple, have a hog roast, have it like a party, kind of like in your back garden kind of thing, and just everyone have a good time, sun shining and things like that. So I kind of envisioned that at first, and then we went to a wedding fair in Warwick, not that far away, and well, I thought it was a wedding fair, but it was actually an open house for the venue. So we had a look around and I thought, this is really nice, and it gave us some ideas about what we wanted and what we didn't want. So more ideas started coming, and then we thought, oh, we'll go to another venue. So we went to a barn, but it was kind of like a modern barn that had been purposely built for weddings. And again, I thought, oh, this is beautiful, we could have it here. And the price kept slowly creeping up, and our expectations of the weddings kept slowly creeping up. And then we went to a castle. So that was Dave's idea, wanting to go to a castle. And I thought, oh my God, this is beautiful. This, as we were going round, it's like, oh yeah, I could imagine that there, and having the reception and getting, on the dance floor there, and the kids could play. And so, again, the price was going up, and unfortunately they didn't have a date in the time frame that we wanted, because we probably would have booked that actually, because it is a fabulous venue. And then we were thinking, okay, maybe we should try something else. So then we went to a place in Bromsgrove called Chateau Ypney. Beautiful place. Again, it's got that grandeur, and then again the price is going up and up. And I can understand how people can spend a fortune on weddings, because you get sucked into the whole wedding palaver. The whole wedding industry is there to make money. The food, the food is costing £3 or £4 grand just to feed some of your friends, and then everything else on top. And I just think we just couldn't settle on a venue. We've seen like some beautiful venues, but we just couldn't settle because that money issue was niggling at us. And we had a chat a couple of days ago, and we were starting to think, what can we do to make it more simple? What do we really want for our wedding? Not for showing off, not so other people can talk about it and go, oh, this wedding was like this. So we've kind of come up with an idea, and that is to, yes, get married in somewhere nice that we want to get married in, but that could mean a 20-minute, half an hour slot in a nice place, or even a registry office if that suits. But then have a big party in like a pub or a restaurant, because then you've got loads of drink on tap, you can put some money behind the bar, and then it'll be more of a like buffet style, maybe a sit down depending on the cost, but then just like have everyone there, have a big party, put something on the iPlayer or the iPad or put some music on basically, and blast it out in the stereo, and then just have a good party. So yeah, we were kind of thinking that's the route that we want to go down. And so I've started to look at things to make a simple wedding even more simple and cost effective, and I've wrote some down here. So it's for you, for your advice, for some tips for you, but also for myself in order to keep in line with the goal and the goals that we want for the wedding and not keep getting dragged in. So I'll start those now, so sorry for rambling up, but that was backstory of how I got to this. So basically, I don't want you to go into debt. I don't want to go into debt. I actually read a statistic that 6 years after a wedding, at least 30% were still paying off debt from their wedding. Now, how awful is that? Yes, you can have a fantastic day. No, it doesn't have to cost the earth. And imagine with all that extra money that you've saved or you've not spent, you can have a fantastic honeymoon. You could put some towards a house, put some towards a car, whatever you want to do, and you can still have a beautiful day. So I'm going to go through it now. So one, the venue, because that seems to be the most expensive thing. So have a look at other venues, alternative venues. One thing I have noticed, obviously Google is a very good search engine, but so is the websites and all the analytics around it. So the only ones that keep coming up, if you search like wedding venues in the West Midlands, the only ones are the big ones, the kind of big venues that can afford someone to sort out their website with keywords and all the analytical data, and they keep coming up in the search engines. So you know, you need to dig a bit deeper and to find yourself a licensed venue for your wedding. So one of the places I got it from was, if you go onto the City Council website and type in like accredited or approved venues, and they'll just basically give you a whole list from museums to, I think one was a brewery I found, and then to the council house actually, and then obviously the big grand venues. So that's one way to get all those lists of venues. So think of that. Then the guest list. So when we started writing our guest list, we were actually thinking of, who do we actually like? Who do we really want there? So family, friends, and it came to about 50 people, because we don't have massive families, and I don't have loads of friends. You know, I have a few good friends that I see a lot of the time, and then then you can start thinking about, okay, work colleagues and ex-work colleagues and extended family, and then your list could get massive and massive and massive. So think about cutting down your guest list and only having the people there that you actually see on a weekly, monthly basis, rather than just someone who you should invite. So the third one is, think about your decorations, your DIYing. How can you kind of limit how much you're doing? So decorations, I've seen some beautiful kind of table decorations, and there's things all around the room. Do you really need that? Do I really need it? I think there's going to be a lot of ways to make it look beautiful with limited resources, and one of the best ways to find out is on Pinterest, because there's just loads of ideas on there. So you can try and find the one that's easy, simple, doesn't use much, and you can do it yourself. So Pinterest, that's the one. Then number 4, have a rethink about flowers, photographer and food. Think about breaking the tradition. So food, it's normally, okay, you have a sit down menu. Oh no, you get married, then you have canapes whilst all the photographers are happening. Then you have a sit down 3-course, 4-course meal. Then while they're changing the room, you go out to the bar, and then when you come back in, there's lots of a buffet table for your evening guest. Why does it have to be that way? That's kind of a tradition. Does it have to be like that? Why can't you have a hog roast, or have a later evening, have a later wedding in the day, and then you could still have your sit down and don't invite any more guests and just all get up and dance, or maybe just have an evening buffet and forgo the sit down meal, because that is the thing that's majorly expensive. That's like 3, 4, 5 grand if you're not careful. And also the photographer, you know, I was thinking of this. I've got a friend who did some photos about 3 or 4 years ago, so I'm thinking of contacting him. Also, a videographer. I think having a video of your wedding and putting it together would be amazing. I don't know anyone who does that, so I don't know whether it's a good way to ring local colleges or universities, or just asking friends and family, you know, if they know anyone. So there are some options there. And also the flowers. A friend of mine, they had a wedding with fake flowers, and you know what? They were absolutely fine. The photos looked wonderful with the flowers. You couldn't tell the difference. You know, only if you like actually touch them, you're like, oh, they are fake. But you know, flowers, it's just, you know, they can cost hundreds of pounds as well. So have a rethink about those. And then another thing is to think about the extra stuff. So the favours, and whether you need a DJ, whether you need, you know, your music or save the date cards. You know, how can you try and change that, you know, so that you're not spending money, so that you're having less there. So again, it's kind of like the rethinking the whole wedding. And you know, there are some stories out there. There's beautiful stories of people having amazing weddings, and they've not had this traditional fuss and having to cost 10, 15, 20 grand wedding. So yeah, just thinking about it in a different way, and also getting down to the fact that, you know, you're getting married because you love this person. You want to say your vows in front of other people to that person that you love, and it's a good place. It is a good time for a celebration. So just think of it as a party or a reunion of family and friends. Just think of it as getting people together. I know that's what I'm going to try and do now, because we've kind of got into this wedding zone where everything's just so much. So as I was saying, if you want something smaller, more intimate, more minimalistic, simple, less stress, then those are some of the ideas that you can follow, and they're also some of the ideas that I'm going to follow as well, because as I said before, you can just get wrapped up with this whole wedding thing. And do you know what? I want it to be a special day, but I don't want it to cost £10,000, let alone like 8,000, 9, you know, whatever. I don't want it to cost that much money, because I was working it out. £10,000 could be like half your salary for a year, or you could have to work 3 months of the year in order to get that money, you know, and that money could be towards a car, a house, a holiday. You know, £10,000, you could go travelling, you know, you could go travelling the world. You could do so much more with that money just for one day. So yeah, that's my little rant over, but I hope some of these tips are helpful. I will be trying to do some more videos about it and how I'm trying to have a more simple wedding but still beautiful and amazing. And luckily my other half feels the same way. You know, he doesn't want that fuss, but he was getting caught up in it as well. But you know, when we think of our real goals and what we do want to achieve and what our wedding is about, we just want it to be simple and special, and yeah, just something we both can enjoy and not get stressed over. So there we are. So I hope you've enjoyed that anyway. I hope you have a great day, and I will speak to you next time. Bye.